Alright, welcome back to Sonic Unleashed, where we've got our second Werehog level of the game. This one I don't think is as terrible as the previous one. I think the last one was really just quite boring, not much to talk about. But this one, there's still not much to talk about, but it's a little bit more interesting. There are some very annoying aspects of this level, specifically these flowers. If you see that these flowers are in an area, take them out first, because they shoot these projectile attacks at you that stun you for a second, and they just make everything go on a lot quicker, and, you know, they'll whittle down your health, and it's just not that fun, like most things in the Werehog levels. Although, thankfully, after this level, I don't think there are a whole ton of Werehog levels for a little bit. So I think we're gonna be spared of the Werehog for at least a little bit. The Spare Hog. That's still probably one of my favorite attacks and one of my favorite things to do in the game. Just pick up the little guys. You can pick up two of them and smash them together, which is pretty great. But, you can, you know, just pick them up and spin them around is probably one of the best things to do in the entire game. So I'm pretty excited right now because Sonic Mania comes out tomorrow. Although by the time this comes out, it'll probably have already been like a month since the game came out. A lot of the reviews dropped today. It seems like it's doing pretty good, but I don't usually trust reviews when it comes to video games because I like to get hands-on. I think there are some things that can be reviewed, some things can't be. It's a matter of taste. There are some things that are definitively like, this is a bad product. But video games and movies and stuff, it's all subjective, so I like to kind of get hands-on. There are some things you can tell, like, this is really bad. But, like, if I had listened to all the reviews of this game, I wouldn't have picked it up, and I would have never played the pretty alright daytime levels. Also, notice that there's a move called the Shorhogkin. So, you know, I like to kind of go my own way when it comes to video game reviews. I'll watch them, but a lot of the times I'll like to form my own opinion before I say this is good or this is bad. But I ordered the collector's edition off of Amazon for the Switch like a couple months ago when it was first announced, I guess. And they haven't shipped it yet, so I'm assuming I'm going to get it in like a week. So I'm going to have to stay off the internet and try not to look at anything Sonic related. Which isn't hard to do. All I have to do is just like stay off DeviantArt. There is a block button, but if you've ever watched me play any of these kinds of games, very, very rarely do I ever use a block button. I don't use block buttons in fighting games, and I don't use block buttons in these beat-em-up style games, mostly because I don't care. Unless it's like a really hard game, like, I was gonna say Bloodborne, but Bloodborne doesn't really have a block button. So what we gotta do here is we got to, a little bit of a platforming puzzle. It's not really a puzzle, it's not that hard. You just push these blocks to where they need to go, and then you can get up farther. It's very, very strange. But yeah, it's very, very odd that Sonic Forces still doesn't have any kind of release date. Because in a way, well, I'm excited for both of them for different reasons. I love the boost gameplay, so that's why I'm excited for Forces, and I like that they said it's going to be a little bit more serious of a story, which can be fun if done right. And I'm excited to see characters like Chaos Zero and Metal Sonic actually used, and Shadow used in like an actual story for a game rather than just like cameos like they've been relegated to. And Sonic Mania, obviously, it's going back to like everyone's childhood. It looks like the 90s. So it's pretty exciting to get our hands on a new Sonic game that isn't you know, a 2D Sonic game that isn't bad. Cough cough Sonic 4. Cough cough anything Dimps made after Sonic Advance 1, 2, and 3. So strange, because Dimps does make good games. Like, they made Street Fighter 4, which I never played, but general consensus seems to be that was a pretty good game. And they made Dragon Ball Xenoverse, which, again, I didn't play, but I watched Chris play it, and it seemed like it's a pretty fun game. So I don't know what the deal with Dimps is. They just can't... after Sonic Advance 3... even, like, Sonic Advance 2, because Sonic Advance 3 wasn't that great. They were just like, we forgot how to make the good Sonic game. The one thing that Dimps did better than Sonic Team at any point was the Time Eater boss. In Sonic Generations, the 3DS version was way better than the actual main game. Which is strange. Everything in Generations was really good up until the very end. Like, Planet Wisp is not a very good set of levels, and the Time Eater is the worst. You know, I'm not even particularly excited about the collector's edition of Sonic Mania. Like, I don't think what's in it even looks particularly great. Like, it's just like a statue of Sonic on top of a Genesis. You press a button, it goes, Sega! That's, like, fine. There's, like, a cartridge of Sonic Mania that has a Sonic ring on it. It's like, alright, whatever. I just wanted to have something from Sonic Mania, because they're not releasing it physically, which is so annoying to me. Especially people who have all the other Sonic games physically. They want to put it in their collection, you know, it's annoying. That's always my thing, like, as a collector, I'm always worried about games and movies and stuff moving to just completely digital, because that would absolutely ruin me. I would hate that. I like to look at the thing that I have and say, this is mine, I have this. And it's like digital games, one day they're just gonna disappear. There's already games that have disappeared. Like the Scott Pilgrim game, I don't think you can get that anymore. That's just gone. One day it's gonna happen to all games, just like it happens to all people. They just go away one day, and you never see them again. They fade away into nothingness. This one, you don't really have to put it up all the way. Well, sometimes you don't, but you do have to be careful of putting it up too far, then Sonic can't jump up to it, or putting it up too low, where Sonic can't grab the next area that he needs to get to. So, just be careful. There's one block puzzle that you have to move, I think, like 2 blocks later on here. The platforming as the Werehog isn't actually that bad, as long as it's not you going across those, like, balance beams. I think those are the worst parts. And the camera could be better, because it's a fixed camera, but you can move the fixed camera, which I don't think ever looks good. Boop. I wish there was an enemy there to just, like, ground pound on. Like, this stuff, I don't really mind this stuff. I like that you can use enemies to propel yourself forward. I think that's a neat little idea. I like using enemies to throw at, switches. It's nice. Speaking of switches, that is the system that I got Sonic Mania for, just because that feels right, you know? I mean, it doesn't because it's a Nintendo system, but that's the closest thing to, like, I don't want that on the PS4 or the Xbox One. I certainly don't want it on the Xbox One. But the Switch feels the most, like, correct. Again, it's just a shame that they don't have, like, an actual physical box for it. Sonic Forces, on the other hand, I will be getting on the PS4. Even though I love the Switch boxes, I think they look better. But the PS4 version apparently runs better, so, you know. Unless they change that, I'll get it on the Switch, but I'll be getting it on the PS4. And I'm sure everyone can breathe a sigh of relief knowing what system I'm getting the games for, because everyone was just on the edge of their seat waiting. What system is he getting these games for? Everyone was asking. So yeah, these kinds of rooms, when you got a whole bunch of enemies, take out the flowers first, because they're just annoying. This level is the one that I was talking about in the first Werehog level, where, like, at the beginning of the game, they throw some real stupid nonsense at you. And it's right at the end of the level, so we'll get to that when we get to that. That's not right here, but I was mentioning this level before. I wonder if they got tired of this music. See, I don't think this song is bad. It's not bad at all. It could have used a few separate battle themes, or no battle theme at all. These kinds of games don't need a battle theme. There's like Devil May Cry, which pulls it off because those songs are usually good and they kind of get you pumped up to play. Because they have fairly repetitive battle themes as well, but it's not, again, it's not like over and over and over again. And then there's usually some butt rock in there, which I think always gets you pumped up. See, now I can't get on there. So this can be kind of annoying. I think the game that does battle themes the best, it's not even a beat-em-up. I think we even talked about this when Chris and I played the game, but Mass Effect 2, like every single planet you went to had a different battle theme, which is amazing. Still haven't played Mass Effect Andromeda. That's one of those where I was talking about sometimes you can tell a bad product. And I guess so could EA, because they like laid off the entirety of like BioWare, which is a shame. I don't think that's how boxes fall, but whatever. I've done this completely wrong, by the way. Look at that shadow on the wall. There's like some sort of spooky enemy trying to kill me, but he's just up here. I don't know what activated him. I think you've only got the one shot to attack that guy. And if you miss it, I don't think you can make that jump again. I don't think he respawns or anything like that. Nope, wrong way. Yeah, these are the dull parts of the Werehog stages. Like, if they had gotten rid of these, the Werehog might have been at least a teensy bit better. I'm not saying it would have been amazing, but it would have been better. I think this is the annoying part that they throw at you. Yeah, this is the really annoying part. The first time I ever played this game, I remember it took me like a bajillion tries to beat this. Because they throw a ton of enemies at you. It's one big gauntlet. They keep respawning when you kill them. A lot of them have shields. So it's not the greatest thing in the world. This kind of thing is why they have that level up system. So if you keep dying in a level like this, just go back to other levels, do as best you can, get as many points as you can, and level up as much as possible. If you're good enough at the game, you can just kind of cheese it. You know, save your unleashed meter, and then unleash yourself here. But don't do it in front of any people, because you might get arrested if you unleash yourself in front of them. I mean, it's a big mess. This is harder than, like, some bosses in the game. And you have to worry about, like, if you mess up the quick time events, you get hit, they gain health back. So it's really, you need to be, like, careful. That's why I'm not doing a whole lot of the quick time events, is because I can probably do them, but if I fail, I'm gonna get hit and probably die, or they get their health back and I'm, you know, on the brink of dying. Whether the goal ring just spawns right there. And finally, we're done with another nightmare of a level.
Oh yeah, that's right, baby.
Alright, if you say so. If you say that's worthy of an S. I do love the soundtrack in this game. It's one of the definite, like, highlights of the game, is just the soundtrack and how good it looks. Except for the warehouse levels. The daytime levels and the daytime cutscenes look great. Everything else... Always put your points into the werehog. Don't worry about Sonic. He'll be fine. And now that this level's done, we're gonna meet one of the best characters in the game, and a character I really wish would make a return in some form.
Professor Pickle! Are you alright? We got here as fast as we could. Professor?
Hello?
How dare they call this culinary concoction food? Look here, do you see this sorry excuse for a sandwich? The bread should be no less than 3/4 of an inch thick. Upon it, 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise and a pinch of black pepper. The contents, fresh cucumber, sliced thinly, if you please.
That sounds absolutely
Am I quite right,
disgusting.
James?
I know I learned something here today.
Professor, it's good to see you haven't changed.
But tell me, what brings you here? The menu is hardly worth the trip, if you ask me.
No, Professor. We came here to rescue you.
Oh? Oh, I see. How rude of me. Right then, first things first. It's about time someone taught the chef here how to make a proper sandwich.
You can file a complaint later, Professor.
Let's get out of here before Eggman's welcoming committee shows up.
Oh, yes, quite. But let us be sure to collect the contents of that vault before departing.
Looks like he went gear second.
Ah, thank you. Those documents are our only hope for surviving this crisis. Let's go. There's no time to lose. I'm half starved after being fed nothing but those terrible sandwiches.
Want some chocolate, Professor?
My. Don't mind if I do. These ancient documents are known as the Gaia manuscripts. They tell the legend of a disaster that befell our planet some tens of thousands of years ago.
A disaster?
Quite. And according to the Gaia manuscripts, this isn't the first time the planet has been broken apart into pieces. The cause lies at the very core of the planet. All the phenomena we've witnessed are the direct result of one creature. The hyper-energy organism spawned at the planet's core, Dark Gaia.
So how do we stop this Dark Gaia and put the world back together?
Luckily, Dark Gaia has yet to be fully reborn. We most likely have Dr. Eggman's premature wake-up call to thank for that. If we act now, we may be able to restore the planet by returning power to the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic, you must travel to each of the temples listed in the Gaia manuscripts. The planet's power will restore the Chaos Emeralds, and in turn, the Chaos Emeralds will restore the planet and help it heal naturally.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thankfully, we are spared from the werehog for a little bit, and it's some fun things we're gonna do, so see you next time.